Autism is a lifelong condition, lifelong for now, because there isn't a cure for it and they don't have a cause for autism. But there are all these researches that, are indicating that it has a genetic predisposition and it affects three areas: social, communication, and behavioral. Those three specific areas, and all three areas have to be affected before a child can be labeled autistic. Diagnosing autism is still something in the pipeline for us as a country, even though there are a few people here and there that do diagnose. So you will realize that your child lacks social skills. You often find him or her playing in the little corner, entertaining him or herself, and is not interested in other children. So you find that he, is introverted. So you see, the thing is that we have all these different definitions to describe what we want to see. We never like to see the whole picture because, unfortunately, in our society, it's still very difficult for us to, accept there's anything wrong. So if you notice your child plays by himself and plays with toys in an unusual manner, you will say, oh no, he's an introvert, he's very quiet and doesn't like to be disturbed. And sometimes they lack pointing. They don't start pointing on time. And then you often find that the social skills are not there, and communication too is, lacking. And then also the person with autism, when he or she has sensory issues, they're feeling everything at the same time. The eyes are seeing, details. The nose, they're smelling. And then for the mouth, they're tasting everything apart from feeling all the different textures around the mouth inside. And then they're hearing all the sounds, talk less of the, detailed sounds as well. And then touch as well. And touch is not just from the hands, even with the clothes. They're feeling, the fabric. So it's like feeling everything in excess. So sometimes when you see a person with autism, behave oddly, in an odd manner, you just think, gosh, what's wrong with him? Now I think, okay, I wonder what it is that's too much for him, what's irritating him, what's annoying him. Generally, 1 in 100 children are mentally challenged. Most of them have autism. And autism is something that we're recognizing a lot more. We're recognizing that it's occurring more. I don't know if it's because people are becoming more aware, because some people think that where did autism come from? It's a new phenomenon, but no, it's been around since the 1940s, but it wasn't called autism specifically. So it's just evolved, so to speak. So most of our children have autism, and we have a couple with Down syndrome and another couple with cerebral palsy. But we focus on the mentally challenged as opposed to, like disabled people, because all sorts of children come here, and we don't refuse anyone. We've had worse cases, really bad cases that appeared to have been hopeless again, like this one little girl that we have. And I mean, we never turn them back, but sometimes the parents just stop. And unfortunately, we don't have a government that insists that your child has to go to school and will support, such challenges parents may have. We work with the child on his specific needs. In some cases, there are 2 or 3 people with 2 carers, because they all need the same thing. Like with the older ones, we're teaching a lot of numbers and teaching them how to, like socialize. And then in some cases, they do some pre-vocational training where they're, like doing their fine motor skills and gross motor skills. So all these things depend on what the pre-assessment has showed that we need to work on. And then we do, and most of the activities are in line with the education program, because every child has his or her IEP, the individual education plan. And everything we do is based on what the IEP suggests. And after that, it's often reviewed bi-weekly, and then they review it and then go on to the next level when we feel that the child has attained the goals, attained the set targets. The challenges vary, and everybody's speed is different. Everybody goes at his or her own pace, and it's all different. So it depends on what we're trying to achieve for the individual. So at an early stage in their life, we could get them into a regular school. That's the exit point from here. And for like the older ones, they've learned to manage themselves better. For example, we have an adult who joined us, and the main issue is knowing right from wrong and just basically managing issues that she would be faced with, because she's an adult and she needs to understand relationships, for example, and she needs to build her self-esteem and do things in society the way society will accept. The best story out of this place, funny, is not about somebody who has left us and gone into a regular school. We've had that, but we have had cases where we're teaching self-help skills, because it's highly unlikely he or she would be accepted in a regular school. Everything we do is in agreement with the parents of who we have.
When Mira was 4 months, she only looked at one direction, either look left or right. She doesn't look straight. So I thought it was eye problem. So I took her to Gogolada Specialist Hospital, and they said I should wait until she's 1. When she was 1, I went back, so they referred me to Kaduna Teaching Hospital, ABU Teaching Hospital in Kaduna. So I went there. So I kept going until she was 3, when they finally diagnosed that she has a form of autism. At first I felt blank, because I don't even know what autism is. I've never heard of that word. So it was after that time I now Googled and read about it. So, and like I quote the word of the teacher that attended to her: no cure, no hope, no medication. To be candid with you, I couldn't even look into the future. Most time I cry. At night I cry, I wake up, I cry. But right now, even when I shed tears, tears of joy, because I see hope. The Muriel that I knew then is different now. So I chose not to believe the report of the doctors, and I'm seeing changes every day. A colleague of mine heard they were doing something in Hilton about autism. So she called me up that I should go there. So I got to Hilton. Zama was having awareness seminar. So I sat at the back that day. I heard everything. So afterward, I called her godmother. She works with British Airways. So she came over. We approached Ronke Katagun. And by the time she gave us the fees, I didn't know where to start from because definitely I could not afford it. We could not afford it, that particular. So I left. I was thinking because she was 5 then and she was still using diaper. She could not, no size, so we will have to use, there's one they call pull up. She was still using diaper because she wee on herself, poo on herself. And I didn't know how to stop that. I was looking for help everywhere. The school that I took her to, what they do is they just lock her up. They lock her up in like a cage. Each time I go to pick her, I'll have to cry. And I was paying, but they don't even know how to help her. So I was really trusting God for another place. And here is Zama, but I can't afford it. So I didn't know what to do until my husband went to an office, Dogza office, where we met Sister Dio. And as soon as she saw my baby, she said, look, where is this baby going to? Whose school? I said, right now she's not going to any school because the last school, this is how they treated her. We took her to another one, they rejected her. So she's just at home with us and I couldn't walk. So she said, no, let me call up somebody. Call up the same Ronke Katagun of Zama and said, look, there's this family you need to help. So Ronke said we should come. And when we came over, she now said there's a scholarship. She will help us with the scholarship. Because this girl have to stop using diaper immediately. And we are to resume the next day. She resumed 2 weeks exactly. She was potty trained. And she could use toilet herself, flush and wash her hand. To me, it was a miracle. When she came in here, she could not hold cup to drink water. She could not hold anything. The only thing she could manage to hold was plastic. She was so attached to plastic. When she sees plastic, she grabs it and she just bites and bites. She could not use, like I said, she was not potty trained. We'll have to feed her at every point in time. And then she throws tantrum all the time, just cry. Most times she doesn't sleep at night. And when she tries to sleep just for 3 hours, that means less sleep for us too. They told us, they said, look, they time her every 30 minutes or every 1 hour. If we take her every 30 minutes and she does not use toilet, we should time it again. We're doing it. But right now, when she wants to wee, she goes to the toilet herself. She will flush and she will wash her hand. And now she feeds herself. Now she can use, she can, even this morning, she brushed her teeth herself. She drinks water, she will take the bottle, open it. She goes to the fridge herself, open the fridge, pour it out, drink, and drop it back in the fridge. So many, these days, after eating, she takes her tray, because I serve her tray, her water. She will take it and drop it in the kitchen herself. The last 2 weeks, I was passing by, I saw her in her room. Her little sister poured the pegs. She took the container and she was picking the peg back inside. So the miracle I dropped then is totally different. To me, Zama was God sent. I call unto God and God sent Zama across my way. And they have lessened my burden because now I can walk. I'm able to work. My husband too is doing his own businesses. And each time I see Muriel, I don't know, I wish I could give everything to Zama. But I'm really trusting God that God will grant Zama their heart desire so that the way they have helped Muriel, they will be able to help so many other kids out there that needs help.
Most people that come here are ready to, have seen the problem and are ready to, go for it. By the time they come here, the only thing that may stop them may be the financial commitments, the financial investment. And what we have, or what we are trying to do for that, is to get sponsors for as many as possible. I mean, we have a few whose being here is as a result of kind-hearted, philanthropic Nigerians like yourselves. So we're always soliciting for funds. We're always doing fundraising events, and we always have our begging bowls out, which unfortunately doesn't go down well with many people. Many people don't take my phone calls anymore. It's like, oh, there she is again. But I feel it's for a good cause, so I don't, have any problems with, soliciting for